antitrust laws, and punitive damages, kind of institution and legal area is helpful to share the understanding of a common law system. So, how do you understand product liability? It is some very controversial area in the evolution of civil damages, tort damages, and you consider the kind of a capitalism viewpoint. So now we perceive the contemporary capitalism is operating in massive production and massive consumption, or automation of a production, and also the ample opportunity of commodity put to the flow of liberal market is often characteristic. So now the material condition has well improved. You see, we now entertain kind of prosperity. How does it could it be realized without our competitive society? The kind of same has now been debated around the theory of one French economist now attracting international attention, Piketty. So basic criticism has been centered on kind of competitiveness as an element of capitalism. But Piketty's idea is to restore justice from abusive growth of capitalism. It produced actually egregious status in which we see some very slim, selective group of super rich. How many percent of rich men in the world has owned a share of percent of total assets, and how do we cure this kind of anomaly? It is just or in his thesis, more importantly, our focus be strong in depth through his concern and admonition. So we now prefer the version to grow the capitalism economy. So growth of economy is indispensable to boost our status. Then his view is also economic in the sense that he forecast the statement, the ultimate statement, with the system being sustained. It does not help to improve the kind of statement of capitalism. Cure should be drawn to resolve that rigidity about the monopoly of assets. No investment or any incentive could be input into the mainstream of a capitalist economy. How do you agree? So that idea is similar to many other versions long raised by many concerned economists. Nonetheless, his work is fairly systematic and comprehensive. It collects historic statistics and what also in spatial distributions, very extensive to cover, for example, the Asian dynasty, China, or contemporary Canada. So his empirical data gotten through the space and time, and analysis is finally articulated to support his thing. How do you understand his hypothesis or any insights to sketch the kind of our discontent in this global economy? Actually interesting. Product liability is one institution to restore balance between producers and consumers. Consumer is generally considered the weaker power in bargaining or interchange. So some theory need to be addressed to protect consumer or purchaser and kind of context. So the product liability is now a chapter, oftentimes in the statute of specific nature. We also have some kind of a statute. It was forcefully raised in terms of a common law series. So case law is the basis to develop this area of concern, and the theory which has affected the legislature later, and we now have kind of a statute. How to define the elements as differs from normal context of a tort damages. Product liability is the responsibility of a manufacturer or seller to pay for harm caused by a defective product. To determine the extent of this responsibility, the law sets three series of product liability. A defendant can be held responsible because of breach of warranty, negligence, or strict liability. A seller can create an express warranty by making representations concerning the quality, condition, description, or performance potential of the goods. The plaintiff must prove that the product did not conform to the warranty and that the defective element was an important factor in making the purchase. So, in extreme conditions, we may expect the burden of proof may shift to plaintiff. Normally, however, in product liability, plaintiff has to prove the elements affirmatively to inform the product liability. However, the work required to prove the elements would be released, as you will see. The general theory, for example, per se element, prima facie case of tort liability, or the kind of traditional theory will be given thoughts of some modification. So first, you consider breach of warranty. That will lead you to get straight to the tort damages. without product liability theory, you should take a little complicated journey to prove your case. So that will be one advantage for the defendant in the tort damage claim. An express warranty can be disclaimed by limiting promises to those made in the written contract. So consider the hypothetical case. Mrs. Ross went to Rayster's hairstylist to have her hair bleached. The stylist used the new bleaching product manufactured by Luxu Laboratories, which resulted in damage to Mrs. Ross's hair. The product's label had guaranteed it would not cause damage to users' hair. Luxu Rayster's and Luxu Laboratories alleging negligence and breach of express and implied warranties. Although the jury found no liability on the part of Rayster's, the trial court found liability on the part of Ross on the basis of negligence and breach of express warranty, and assessed damages of $5,000. Ross appealed, and the Court of Appeals affirmed, holding that when a product label says the product will perform in a certain manner and if forced to do so, it violates an express warranty. The manufacturer is liable for damages caused by the unfulfilled promise. In the work case, a warranty on the label of a hair bleaching product or breach when a user suffered damage after using the product. So the paragraph number 29 shows a very typical pattern of product liability often raised in our labor dispute. And in paragraph number 30, we see product liability from the viewpoint of strict liability, and the other is negligence pertaining to product liability. And you now will be asked to get on page 32. It is about antitrust laws in the United States. The antitrust laws were developed to encourage competition. Theoretically, competition benefits the consumer by lowering prices and raising profit. So we also have some backdrop about this institution. You can see the wake of growth in the capitalist economy. The antitrust laws is antedated in the United States, which revert to the early 20th century, what is Sherman Act, Clayton Act. And currently you will see kind of an important authority, Federal Trade Commission, FTC, others. And it is one area of law now contended by international intellectuals or extraterritorial application of laws. So the domestic drafters will define the kind of U.S. corporation in terms of a legal theory. So the share of ownership of share or element could help to define the cooperation, identity of cooperation. Then multilateral cooperation would often be frequent in the United States. They would have a foreign base of production or other branch offices in another country. Then, actually, realistically, there could be find some conflict about territoriality principle. The branch office is placed in London or United Kingdom, for example, or big king in China. Then the compulsory measure, for example, commanded by, ordered by a court in responsibility about collection of evidence or a president making presence of documents about evidentiary interest could be a subject questionable. So, how do you see? In some cases, blocking statute may be enacted to order in adverse effect against the original ordering asserting. So, Euro could not be take any one effect, which is compulsory in nature. Kind of issue is often not occasional. Theoretically, competition benefits the consumer by lowering prices and raising quality. The various antitrust laws such as Sherman Act, Clayton Act, and Federal Trade Commission Act prohibit monopoly, contract to restrain trade and certain mergers. Depending on type of conduct, the courts may apply an absolute ban or rule of reason. Any person found guilty of violating the Sherman Act is subject to criminal prosecution for felony. A typical violation is a group boycott. So the sentence is generally get higher in recent terms. So